goodness. It's so backwards. I can't. This whole backwards thing, like when you're looking at yourself, it's, and then you just can't. And it was fine. My hair was fine. Then I'm like, why am I crooked? Because I'm not crooked. I'm not a crooked person. Except crooked hair sometimes. Hello, it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Is it the middle of the week? Is it hump day? How did that name come up? Hump day. I don't know. I just don't. Do I want to know? Not really. I mean, should I look it? All right, let's look it up. How did hump day originate? That's what I'm going to put into Google because I love me some Google. How did hump day originate? I mean, why not? You know what I mean? We're all here together. So let's see. This is the AI overview. Do you know that Google does that now? So because AI is taking everyone's jobs. Did you not know that? That's what's happening. Dock workers strike. Did you get your toilet paper? I haven't even been to the store because we have enough toilet paper right now. But apparently, allegedly, there are places in Arizona, California. There are stores with no toilet paper because of the strike. I don't Calm down. Everything's going to be fine. I mean, I don't know about in the future, but I think everything's going to be okay. Because do we really want to go back to that? Clearing out the shelves. Let me buy my peanut butter and my toilet paper. What are those two things going to do for you? I mean, really, if worse came to worse and you had to use some leaves, it is fall. We have plenty of them in New England anyway. Okay, so the term hump day originated in the United States in the 1950s as an informal way to refer to Wednesday, the middle of the work week. See, I didn't know it was originated in the 1950s. The phrase is based on the idea of a week as a metaphorical hill that a person climbs, with Wednesday representing the peak or middle of the week. Here goes my nose, and then it'll stop. Like I'll wipe it, and then that's it. Look at do you like my very pretty piece of toilet paper? The phrase implies that people can then climb down the other side of the hill and move towards the weekend. So if you really, you were wondering where hump day came from, there you go. There's your hump day explanation. And to explain to you, to those of you who don't know who the heck I am and why I'm here, my name is Kiki, and my husband and I, we have this little thing called a radio station. What is that? What even is that anymore? But we have one, and Al did a great job putting it all together. It's called Kiki.fm. There it is. Kiki.fm. It's free in the App Store. Stop. I know. Completely free. We play the greatest classic rock and classic hits anywhere. So go ahead, check it out. Kiki.fm. And also, if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. Subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Hit the like button. That's so important. Like, you don't even realize how important it is to hit the like button. YouTube really wants people to like your video because then they can push it out to more people. And like I said, it just keeps us all coming back for more. Let's say hello. Let's say hello to Kathy Waddle. Hi to Tanya. And Cindy, what is going on? And Kathy said she bought 3 months of toilet paper last week, didn't know there was going to be a port strike. So at least you're ahead of the game, Kathy. So that's a good thing. And yeah, that's what I'm hearing. And no, this is not a political channel, but I got to tell you, that debate last night, I just got to say, it was good. It was really great to see people acting nicely towards each other. They're competing. Yes, each of them wants that choice spot to be the vice president of the United States of America. So they are battling against each other, but it wasn't a battle for a change. It was nice to hear people finish a sentence. It was nice to, I just said sentence, really weird sentence. Sentence. It was nice to hear people finish the sentence. And it was really nice to, actually get answers to the questions. Well, for the most part, I'm not going to go there, but I was really happy. And it made me very happy today. Anywho, it is stunningly gorgeous here in Rhode Island slash New England. I mean, fall is in full effect. Leaves are fallen. The weather is just crisp and perfect, and the sun decided to peek out today. I'm still annoyed with this side. Is it this? It's this side. Okay, but see, it looks so weird in the camera. Do I look weird? I do look weird, but it's fine. I don't care. Okay, that's fine. It is just absolutely gorgeous outside. So I'm going to go on the bike path today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. I'm not going to bike though. I'm going to walk. That's what I'm going to do. So if you guys can get outside today, wherever you are, if the weather is gorgeous, get out there, man. I am loving this weather. So moving on, we're just going to move into, we have a whole bunch of things to talk about today. And one thing I felt really bad about yesterday. Let me go ahead and find this article. Frank Fritz of American Pickers. I got to tell you guys, Al and I used to watch that show every single week it came on. We would watch the reruns. And of course, the biggest episode that sticks out in my mind is when him and Mike found Aerosmith's van in the woods, rotting away in Western Massachusetts. I will never forget that episode. I was so, oh my gosh. I remember sitting there watching it for the first time going, that is insane that they found and restored this van. And we actually, while we saw it through like little windows that were kind of covered up at, I don't even remember what venue it was in Las Vegas when we had the chance to go many years ago, not last year. We went to Vegas several years ago, just making that clear here. And their van was inside the venue. So when people were going into the show, they could see the van. So, so cool. But Frank Fritz, sadly, he passed away. Now, he has been out of the public eye for quite some time. I knew he was not well, but I did not realize he had had a stroke. I mean, Frank was only 60 years old. And, his claim to fame did come with the show American Pickers, which was absolutely huge. And then, we started to see that Frank wasn't really appearing on the show. Like there were episodes where Mike's brother would step in, and there were episodes that Frank just wasn't in them. So I guess he was battling with this for quite some time. I think, let me see, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I believe, let's see. Let me see. I think it was in 2020 that he took the stroke. He had so I apologize. This is why, it's great to read and make sure you're getting the right information. This is from cbsnews.com. He had a stroke in 2022, so it was only 2 years ago. But if you guys watched the show, you know that he had been absent for quite some time. And his friend said that the stroke he took in 2022, he never fully recovered from. And let's see, his friend is having a celebration of life for him. And that will probably happen in the spring. And let's see. And again, he used to drive around the United States looking for antiques and collectibles to buy and resell with his buddy Mike. And he did pass away at a hospice facility in Davenport, Iowa. And his friend's name is Annette Oberlander, longtime friend. And let's see. She was at his bedside when he did pass, as well as Mike Wolf, his friend from American Pickers. And I guess they were friends for many, many, many years. So very, very sad about his passing, and, of course, love to his friends and family. And another person who passed away, oh my gosh, John Amos. And of course, now texts are going between my friends and I this morning. I don't even think I answered because I'm like, I don't know. They thought it was John Stamos who had passed away. And no, it was John Amos. And let me go ahead and share this picture of him. He was 84 years old. Let me make sure I do it correctly. Amos, go here, go back here. There it is. So, John Amos, and he was from the show Good Times. I watched that show all the time, every single episode. He was also in Roots, which I totally forgot about. And let's see, he passed away on August 21st in LA of natural causes. This is from variety.com. So he's actually been gone for quite some time, and I'm kind of, I didn't realize he had passed a while ago. But this news just came out yesterday, I believe. And it is with heartfelt sadness that I share with you that my father has transitioned, said his son, Kelly Christopher Amos, in a statement. He was a man with the kindest heart and a heart of gold, and he was loved the world over. Absolutely. Many fans consider him their TV father. He lived a good life. His legacy will live on in his outstanding works in television and film as an actor. My father loved working as an actor throughout his entire life, most recently in Suits LA, playing himself, and our documentary about his life journey as an actor, America's Dad. He was my dad, my best friend, and my hero. Thank you for your prayers and support at this time. Again, really, just super sad. Yeah, and like I said, I remember watching him in Good Time. I mean, that's how I remember him. And Roots. Remember how controversial that was when it came on TV. Wasn't it like a mini series, if I remember correctly, on a local, well, it was like either ABC, CBS, or NBC. That's all we had, right? So, hey, Nancy, how are you? So, yeah, again, love and prayers going out to his family and friends as well. Like I said, there's a ton to talk about today. And let's see, our first story. All right, who watched The Price is Right growing up? That another show besides Good Times, and then we had Roots, and most recently American Pickers. But come on, The Price is Right. I mean, spinning the wheel, Bob Barker with his long, skinny microphone, and his suit probably made of polyester, but you just it's like you were there. I would sit there watching that show pretending that he was pointing to me to come on up and guess the price of things, but I never got there. And it didn't happen, but I used to have these thoughts in my head because I was a weird kid, and I was I was alone, really. My brother's 8 years older than me. There was we're so close now, but then it's like he's driving, going out on dates, like he's doing what he's got to do, and I'm sitting at home thinking that I'm in the audience on The Price is Right because that was my childhood. I thought I was in the TV. Did you not? Do you? Probably not. You probably didn't do that. But anyway, so Bob Barker seemed like a super nice guy, but I guess there was like a darker side to Mr. Barker. And the ladies, was there one named Diane, or there were two named Diane, I think, and I would get them confused, but he called the ladies who would help him, do whatever, you point at the boat and the car, there's the car. He called them Barker's beauties. But according to this article, dig.com, and this has been out for a while too. I don't know why this is resurfacing. Maybe somebody wrote a book or something, but they called him a monster. And what's out on Netflix right now, the miniseries called Monster or Monsters, about the Menendez brothers. I talked to you guys about that the other day. I did watch it. I don't think it should have been 9 episodes. I think it could have been cut down. And I think produced or directed by the person who did the Dahmer documentary. And again, horrible, horrible thing that happened with him and his victims. But that documentary still sticks in my head. It was done so well. It was done so well that I still think about, like, it grapples me. Like, I it's so disturbing. But the Menendez miniseries, I just didn't come away with that feeling because I felt like a lot of stuff in there was really repetitive and just they just kept going over the same thing over and over and over again, which I don't feel they needed to. They could have definitely made it 5 episodes, probably at the most. But is it a story that should be told? Yes, because it's horrible, horrific. Um, and the sad thing is we just can't they killed their parents. So we have no idea of knowing if what they said is true. You have to, you know, take their word and say, "Well, of course it's terrible if it's true. Of course it is." But you have no way of verifying the information. Even though there are people who say there's no way that could have ever happened to those boys, never going to know. Anyway, if you do like that type of, true crime, you might as well, give it a watch on Netflix. And so anyway, I don't know. They the Barker's Beauties called Bob Barker a monster. So that's why that just popped into my head. I have to wipe my nose again, sorry. It's like a massive drip. I don't know what's happening. So let's see. Oh, Holly. There was a woman named Holly on the show. And I guess she was in a legal battle with Bob. And let's see. Bob was her former boss at The Price is Right. And the game show first came on TV in 1956. It was the first game show for daytime TV. I didn't even know that. And, it lasted a very long time. Bob Barker didn't come onto the show until 1972. And in the age of the Me Too revolution, after Bob had passed away, things started to come out about his on-set behavior. And now Holly and I guess the other women she worked with, I don't know if it's all of them or some of them, they have agreed to come out and finally say what really went on behind the scenes, and they've now decided to fight back. Okay. And then that's it. Okay, but we got to find out what they're fighting back about. What are they fighting back about? So I have to go and look that up now and see what they're really fighting about. I mean, I think this has been out for a while though. Let's see. The Unsung Warrior. This is from Business Insider. The Unsung Warriors of The Price is Right. And this is from businessinsider.com. I said that. So let's see. After fighting for almost a decade, Holly Hallstrom has come to the end of her road. Let's see. She said this article says she was driving a beat up white Honda as it came to a stop. She wasn't just out of gas, she was out of money. She was down to her last 48 cents. She'd sold all of her belongings to give up and fight a battle that she more than likely would have lost, taking on Bob Barker. Geez, who knew that? That's crazy. And she was one of the game show's 4 models. Let's see. It was packaged as the daytime's answer to Charlie's Angels. I don't think I ever heard them referred to as that. And they were America's first supermodels. Another tidbit I did not know, scantily clad, seemingly ubiquitous, and carefully typecast as personalities that viewers could relate to. I couldn't relate to a Barker beauty. I don't look like that. I wasn't walking around in no sequin dress either, and high heels. I mean, I guess I could have been at one point in my life, but I did not. Let's see. So Holly, who was always stumbling around in her high heels, was presented as the show's comic relief. and ordered to dye her blonde hair red just to look like Lucille Ball or Carol Burnett. And she said she hated that. She didn't like it. She said she was terrified every single moment. She was going to make a mistake, knock something over, or trip. She said she was a klutz. She wanted to appear graceful and poised, like, a professional model. Oh, I remember her. Let me share this one. I remember Holly. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Share it. Go back so it's not a black screen. You remember her? I remember her. So let me go ahead and unshare that. And let's go ahead and continue this article. So she was on The Price is Right for about 20 years. And she was involved in the toxic and demeaning workplace that Barker was accused of. And the beauties said that off camera, they were routinely subjected to harassment and discrimination. And this just didn't happen with allegedly their boss. It also allegedly happened with other males within the organization. And this article goes on to say that Bob allegedly would not speak very nicely to them. And when they did complain to the higher ups at CBS, allegedly, I'm just going to keep saying that word, they were ignored or threatened with being fired. Yeah. Isn't that the way, though? You hear that so much more often than we should hear that. So, defended by the network, Bob continued to deny everything. He's like, nope. And he passed away when he was 99, and he denied it right up until that day, from what this allegedly. And he said that, and I quote, "It had nothing to do with the show or with me. It was all in the minds of the women." But Holly, along with some of the other ladies that she worked with, decided to challenge all of that and basically the whole television industry for what they had gone through. And women who came after them, they didn't face very nice things. And Bob and CBS allegedly, because I don't know, I'm just reading this article, shamed them in public, fought them in court, and bound them to silence with non-disclosure agreements. That's not right. I mean, listen, if things happen and you have proof, you should be able to talk about it. Why not? I mean, if like I said, if it's real, it's true, you have the evidence to corroborate it, you should be able to speak about it. And like I said, fragments of what they endured has been public for years. I mean, we've all read about it, and I think I even talked about this last year. And I guess there are a lot of clips on YouTube as well with Mr. Barker not being so professional. So let's see. It says that, they did fight back. They took on, one of the biggest TV game shows hosts in history. And they also took on a humongous network. And Holly had nothing left. She was stranded in October of 2005 on a road in California. She had her belongings in her car, and she had an envelope from CBS that was about to change everything. All she had to do with the Honda's gas gauge stuck on empty was get down the hill and into town. So she did just that, and she did her first interview in decades, and she is now 72 years old, and I guess she must have won something, but I'm not really sure. Let's see. She's finally decided to come out and talk about everything. It's unpleasant for her to do so because she has a lot of pain, anger, and outrage, but she wanted to tell it once and then just never talk about it again, which makes sense. I mean, because again, you can rehash things over and over and over and over and over again, but what is the point of doing that? You go out there, you say it, you talk about it, and then move on because it's gotta be painful, especially if they had truly gone through all that, which I mean, again, you have to believe that they did, because why would she go through all of that? And this is a pretty long article, so I'm not gonna go through everything. I'm just trying to see if she won something. I would hope so. Let's see. Did she win? Uh Okay, so a judge refused to allow Curling, whoever that is, to just depose Moonves. I don't know who that is either, and eventually granted a summary judgment in favor of the network and Barker. But CBS had apparently had enough. Barker's game was over. And in June 2007, he taped his last show, telling everybody, he said, you know what, I'm going to retire, not mentioning all of the claims that he had had against him, which I guess there were many. But he was 83 at that time when he decided to step down. And Holly said her advice for anyone thinking about speaking up at work says, do everything you can to maintain your personal power and your ethics. And if you are brave enough and can support yourself and whoever you need to support through a long battle, then by all means stand up, speak out, and resist. Because the women I know who did not, it stains your soul and it never goes away. Let's see. I'm guessing she had to win some type of, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm guessing she won some type of settlement because it seems like she's happy with everything that eventually, how it ended up. But it seems like fans are still they're still for Bob, and he still has a very wonderful place in a lot of people's hearts because The Price is Right was ignored after, let's see, fans were unhappy this week when The Price is Right was ignored in a very important anniversary for the show. While fans flocked online to praise the former host, Bob Barker, the show itself didn't even acknowledge the 1-year anniversary of his death. So I guess on the TV show, they did not even bring up the fact that Bob had been gone for a year. This article came out on imdb.com on August 28th. I mean, let's face it, right? I mean, the guy clearly, was responsible for some type of sadness, anger, and all kinds of emotions with these women, and it was not a good scene. But I don't know. So do you just pretend somebody isn't there or was never there? I don't know. You tell me. I mean, it's just so I mean, is it the right thing to say, "Oh, happy anniversary?" Like, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? "Oh, let's just all gather together and, let's memorialize Bob Barker being gone a year. The Price is Right." Well, at least acknowledge the fact that the show's been on the air all that time. I don't know, did they? I don't watch anything, really. I just watch stuff on YouTube. That's that's really about it. I'm not watching. I don't have time to watch game shows. Do you? Maybe you do, and good for you. We were talking about Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune the other night and how, gosh, I used to sit there 7 to 7:30 Wheel of Fortune, 7:30 to 8 Jeopardy. Oh my, it was my son Corey, that was it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's on at 7:30 Jeopardy," and it's like I used to try to get all the questions. And then he was talking about how Ryan Seacrest is now hosting the Wheel of Fortune, and I thought it was interesting. He goes, "Yeah, he just doesn't seem into it." I gotta watch it now just to see if Ryan is just maybe he's sad. He just liked American Idol, I guess. But then again, I feel like that's run its course too. It's been on is it still on? Where am I? Clearly, I'm not pay I just don't pay attention. I loved American Idol. I think I watched it the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons, and then it's like the same thing over and over again. Honestly, the auditions are pretty funny. Those are great. But then again, some of those are just planted for sure. All right. So, what are we talking about next? You know what? I didn't even bring that up. And I have to because it's kind of cool. So, the Scorpions are going to be doing a Las Vegas residency. This is from MSN.com. And they're celebrating their 60 years of being out there with this residency. And they will be returning to Vegas in 2025 with a headlining residency show because why not? And I mean, they don't have to travel anywhere. They can just stay put in their nice, fancy, cushy hotel. And all the fun kicks off on Thursday, February 27th, 2025 at PH Live at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. And they will be joined by special guest Buck Cherry. I don't know Buck Cherry. I've heard the name, but I don't know who Buck Cherry is. And of course, they're going to play all their favorites. They were ranked number 46 on VH1's Greatest Artists of Hard Rock, and Rock You Like a Hurricane was number 18 on VH1's list of the 100 greatest hard rock songs ever. It is a great song. And most recently, they were honored with the Lower Saxon State Award. They've sold over 110 million albums. Holy macaroni. And of course, they've gotten a ton of honors, and they do have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Good for you, Scorpions. Rock on, rock on, rock on. Yeah. And let's see, that whole Jane's Addiction thing that happened with Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell. Well, or should we say with Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro? That was crazy. Poor Dave's just standing there like, what is happening right now? He didn't. I felt bad for the guy. He's literally going, we're just, what? As Perry Farrell's approaching him. I mean, there's so many fan videos. But I guess backstage, the band's guitar tech said that Perry actually punched Dave in the face backstage after that show. And they're saying that one of the crew members said that his name is Dan Cleary. This is from Variety. The band is over. That's it. That's it. They're done. And Jane's Addiction fans have said, you know, what the heck? Like, what happened? And this concert was in Boston. That's when this whole thing went down. And it was, you know, they were in the middle of a song. And the latest thing to come out is that Perry went after Dave backstage. Everybody was back there. And he punched him in the face. So there is a 90-minute podcast between Dan Cleary, the group's guitar tech, and Todd Newman, who is a friend of Dave's. They've been friends for 30 years. And let's see what the podcast is so you guys can go and check it out. Oh, let me go ahead and I'll share it so then you can watch it. Because why not? Cindy, Jane's Addiction, what a shame. Isn't that the truth? And then Tanya said, Scorpions rock. It's true. Hey, Steve, how are you? Okay, so there you go. So if you want to check that out and get all the details, you can go ahead and listen to that. So they're saying, like some of the guys in the band said, this is it. It's pretty much over. And you just have to go when there are tensions in a band, but where did the tensions come from? Is it because, Perry his wife came out and said that he's going to get help, um, and I guess there was some drinking going on and allegedly and things like that. So, it's just not good. Like I've said over the years, I don't know how and let's face it, back in the well, probably, I'm sure. Well, 60s, 50s. I mean, there was a documentary I watched a long time ago. It was about a female Motown era. I can't remember what it was. Jennifer Hudson, I think, she played the singer, and there was a lot of drugging going on there. From the movie that I watched. Oh my gosh, now I can't remember. That was a great movie. Um, I just don't know how artists could do substance anything and get out there and put on a good show. I really don't. Like, I can't even really drink Prosecco anymore. Like, literally, I had a half a glass the other night, and I thought I was gonna vomit. What is that? I talk about this all the time. I'm like, I just wanna have one. Once in a while even, and I just can't. So how these artists, they're going there out there, they're pumped up, they're in front of hundreds of thousands of people, sometimes tens of thousands of people, and, you know, I don't know how you can be under the influence of something and do a great job, but I get it's happened. I mean, people, they've done it. They've done it for a long time. And let's see, backstage, I guess it was pretty bad. Go and listen to that podcast. Tell me what you think next time I'm on. And let's see. Newman, who was not at the Boston show but heard about it from Dave, said that everything went back to the first night of the tour, and they both were telling Farrell to quit the band before the opening show in Las Vegas, even as fans were coming into the show. That's crazy. And Clary said that management earned their keep that day. What the heck? Oh my gosh, there's a lot. There was a lot. And let's see, Eddie Lau Farrell said that everything happened because her husband had finally, quote, reached his breaking point. And let's see, when Farrell was sober ish, the group was doing some of the best show in its history. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you can focus when you're clean. When your brain is clean, you can really know what you're doing. Even if in calamitous appearances in Tampa, New York, and finally Boston, they ended up doing 3 of the worst. So before they started their European leg of the tour, Clary said that, they had just come together after 14 years of being apart. And they said, you know what, we're going to do this and we're going to do this nicely. And they all agreed that they would proceed democratically. And they said they just wanted to be 4 guys on stage, no backup singers, no dancers, none of that. Old school music speaks for itself. Yes, it does. And I do know that there was immediate pushback from Perry on that issue, and that's from Cleary. So, but before the US leg of the tour, the subject came up again, I guess, about dancers. And the rest of the band said no. I don't know. Did Perry want those? Okay, so some previous tours under the band's name that had not included all the original players had utilized Eddie Lau Farrell and other dancers on stage. Oh, so Perry's wife was a dancer for Jane's Addiction. And I guess the other guys did not want to utilize dancers. They just wanted to, they just wanted it to be about them. Huh, interesting. So, in this account, Farrell, who had allegedly not attended rehearsals, showed up a few hours before the start of the Las Vegas opener with video content he had filmed of Eddie and I think some other women in the desert dancing. No dancers on the stage. But now you want to put them behind us dancing. It's kind of the same thing. It's 2024. It's a bit of a different time. You know, having scantily clad chicks on stage or on video, I don't think it's as empowering as maybe the Farrells might think it is. The Farrells sort of couldn't let go of this thing to the point that before the first show, Perry quit the band. Oh, so it was a dancer thing. And I agree with that. Like, back in the 80s, right? Let's face it, that's what everybody did. They put, chicks with big tatas and barely any clothes on in videos. And I guess they still kind of do that with some type of music today. But like, I don't know. It's so ew. Really. I mean, you do what you got to do. That I get it, but it's just so ew. It's just so ew. I don't know. But everybody's going to be who they want to be. And that's great. It's true. I don't think that's just a relevant thing. And it hasn't been for a very, 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 very long time. So yeah, so that's pretty much what that come down. That's a long article too. So I guess it came down to that and I'm sure a whole lot of other things. So Jane's addiction, pretty much done. Pretty much done. And what are we talking about now? Oh, Perry Farrell. Wait a minute. Hold on. There was something else. So let's see. His wife, Perry's wife, says that he is seeking medical treatment after physical outburst at Jane's addiction concert. And this is from Hollywood Reporter. And this came out on September 22nd. We're equally astonished at Perry's physical outburst as you are, but you must know that Perry must have been pushed to his absolute limit. To that end, we apologize. And she posted that on Instagram. Let's just hope that Perry gets the help he needs and everything's good. But in terms of how do you come back from that? Like I always say about the journey stuff, how do you come back from, being compadres on stage with people that have sued you or you sued them? It's just not, it's not friendly. It's just not a fun feeling. But I don't think there was any of that in Jane's addiction. It sounds like it was just outside things and maybe some inside things too. Bon Jovi, they are releasing a book called Forever, celebrating their 40th anniversary. What? What? Isn't it weird? Like you see these bands celebrating 40 years, Scorpion 60 years. Wait a minute, when? Well, of course, now Rolling Stones comes to the top of mind, and they're never going to stop, as well as Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr is 84 years old. Stop it. Stop. But Bon Jovi, they are going to embrace the fact that they have been around for 4 decades. And this is from blabbermouth.net. Bon Jovi has given Genesis permission to take over their entire archive to share their story and take you through their phenomenal 40 years. And throughout these 40 years, they have created 16 studio albums with their big, ginormous hits, Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, It's My Life, and Have a Nice Day. Have a nice dang day. And they have performed more than 2,700 concerts and have played in front of more than 34 million fans in over 50 countries. Well, bravissimo to you guys. John Bon Jovi said, and I quote, "I never laid out a plan for what I wanted people to feel from listening to our songs, but when you're writing a collection of songs, it's often the ones that really resonate with you that stand the test of time and resonate with others. If a song is pure of heart, if it comes from an emotional place, and it's not just crafted, chances are the listener will take that story and make it their own." Boy, is that true. And so part of what Genesis is releasing, they have handwritten lyrics, a bunch of clothing that the guys have worn both on and off stage in videos, guitars. They've got all kinds of things, of course, personal photographs, tour passes, all kinds of things. And this will be the ultimate historical document of Bon Jovi. And it will be published as an official signed and numbered limited edition book and boxed set that includes an exclusive 7-inch vinyl record. That's very cool. And I like that. I think that's, bands of our generation, I think it makes sense to do limited edition copies of things because, first of all, then it wants people want it more. The desire is there. The, fact that I better get it now before it sells out. And then, of course, if it sells out, well, we've decided to release another 1,000. Thank you guys. But with the times the way they are and how expensive it is to create an album, how expensive it is to put together a video if you're even doing that type of thing, it's just not cost effective. And in turn, that cost has to be passed on to the fans. So limiting it and making people want for it is a great idea. And you can go ahead and visit genesispublications.com to check out more info. It's not, to me, it screams, I'm going to be expensive. That's what it says to me. But, if you're a massive Bon Jovi fan, go get it. Go pre-order it. Oh, there's a pre-order we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. Yes, we are. Yes, yes, we are. Oh my goodness, Eric Clapton. So we've got all of this information about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coming up in October, and Mr. Lou Gramm is going to perform with Mick Jones at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, the induction ceremony. Finally, foreigners getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We all have our feelings on the Rock Hall, who they vote for, who they put on the ballot, who they get in. There's a whole lot of vibe with the Rock Hall, whether it be positive, negative, what in between. There's a whole lot of feelings about the Rock Hall. And we all know, like there are certain bands that come on now that should be in there. Eddie Money, Styx, REO Speedwagon, give me a break. Like these are people and bands that should have already been inducted. Foreigners should have been in there years ago. So Eric Clapton, this is from Ultimate Classic Rock. He's the only person, this is a fun fact, who's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times. Three times. 1, 2, 3. And even though he's been inducted into the Rock Hall 3 times, he doesn't have very great things to say about the Rock Hall. He said that, and I quote, "I think of it as a frat boys club that happened to lure me in." And let's see, he said that in a recent interview with the Real Music Observer. He said he was inducted with the Yardbirds, Cream, and for his solo career. And let's see, he went on to say why he was drawn into the hall and why his opinion eventually shifted. I mean, here's the thing, right? You're given this honor, just like Dolly Parton. We want you to come into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're going to induct you. And she's like, no, I can't do that. I'm a country singer. I'm not going to, I don't deserve it. I want somebody else to take that spot. So she really said no. And somebody talked her into it because then she ended up in there, which is, it's cool. I mean, she really, I got to say, she redeemed herself with the rock. Can you see that with the rock star box set? She did. She did all of these duets, whatever everybody thinks about it, came, went, but she did. She did a whole box set of duets with people. And I don't think she was with everybody. It was all studio. Most of it was studio done, right? But whatever, she did it. And she said that was her dream to do a rock and roll album. She did, and she's in. So Eric said, and I quote, "I think the fact that they had former Atlantic Records president and Hall of Fame chairman Ahmet Ertegun was the ticket for me. He was doing it for people like Ruth Brown and the Drifters, all those early Atlantic artists that were being forgotten. And then it just kind of started to snowball. And he went on to say his involvement with Rolling Stone magazine, whose founder, Jan, as I was calling him Jan, Wenner, also helped establish the hall, made him very suspicious. Yet the endorsement of friend Robbie Robertson convinced Clapton to give the institution a chance. Again, what are you going to do? Say no? I mean, you could, but I think they're going to say you got to take this award. You got to be inducted because you just can't not do it. And Eric went on to say that it's not a place for rebels. He did enjoy his reunion with Cream at the 1993 induction ceremony and ultimately determined that the hall's omissions of influential musicians, such as the late guitarist J.J. Cale, carried the most weight. Again, like I said, we all have our thoughts on the Rock Hall. And no matter what, at the end of the day, it is an institution that is an honor to be a part of. I mean, you can't take that away from the Rock Hall. It is an honor. It's just the whole direction of how they get there and, the people on the ballot and all of that. That's what everybody disagrees with. Now, Eric is actually on tour, and his next show is tomorrow in Mexico City. And this is from his website at ericclapton.com. And he's doing, let's see, so it looks like 4 shows through October 12th, and the last one's at the Hollywood Bowl in LA on October 12th. So Eric Clapton. Let me see what else is here. Music Hall of Fame. I agree. Music Hall of Fame, like just to keep, or like I had suggested many times before, maybe doing offshoots, you know, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but yet we've got, I don't know. Do you call it rap? Is it still rap? This is how much of the genre, like I just don't listen to it. So whatever. I don't know. Soul, pop, just have different categories. But lumping everybody into a rock and roll Hall of Fame bucket, I just, again, I don't agree with that. I don't. And I don't agree with the fact that there are bands that are not in it and they should be in it. Boston, absolutely, they should be in it. I mean, every time I write a little article about Boston, people go crazy. Bad Company, too. Are they in it? Are Bad Company in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I'm just saying that, every time I write about those 2 bands, people just absolutely love it. Rock Hall, Bad Company, are they in? Now I got to check. Are they in? Are they in? No, Bad Company is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, again, another band people just absolutely adore. Okay. Frankie Valli. Now, I talked about him the other day, and there have been tons of videos going around on TikTok. I mean, they're close-up videos of Frankie attempting to lip sync to his songs. And I do have to apologize. I said I always confused Frankie Valli and Frankie Avalon. Did you not? I always did. Always did. I said beauty school dropout Frankie Valli sang that, and somebody, came back and said, no, it was Frankie Avalon did it. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't say I was sorry. I should have, but I said, oh, I forgot because I did. I always confused the 2. Why? Because they're both named Frankie, right? But anyway, Frankie Valli did Grease. He did not do beauty school dropout. So these videos going around on TikTok don't put Frankie Valli in the best light. They don't. He's trying to mouth the words, and I mean, he's barely opening his mouth. So first of all, I think putting that out there, first and foremost, is just mean. Like, why would you even like, I didn't need to know that, but then now that I knew it, I'm like, I have to talk about it, but I feel bad, because I like Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli's 90. 90. Let me share a picture of Frankie. Let's make sure he's there so you can see that. So at 90, he looks pretty good. I mean, again, these videos did not make him look so good. And I had also made a comment, as many others did. I made a comment, I don't know, the other day or last week or whatever, and said, I think it's mean them making Frankie go out on stage. And clearly he's just not capable of putting on a full show like that. And by seeing those just little snippets of videos, to me, I still stand behind that. It just didn't look like he was, you know, I don't want to say good enough, but the fact that, it just wasn't good enough. Really, how else do you put it? Fans are still, I don't care if it's $10 a ticket or $100 a ticket, they're still taking the time to go out and see you. And all right, was it good? I don't know. I haven't been to a Frankie Valli show. Let me know in the comments if you've seen him recently, and if you enjoyed the show, then great. But the way people are portraying him and showing him, it just doesn't look like he should be doing it. What am I going to say? Well, I'm going to sit here and lie and say, "Oh my gosh, it was so good." No, it really, the little bit I've seen, it just didn't look great. Okay. And so this is from people.com. And he said that nobody has ever made me do anything I didn't want to do. Now, I don't know if he's been out for a long time. It feels like he just popped back up. I remember seeing that he did some shows last year, maybe. But all of a sudden, here's Frankie Valli. So this past week, he did go viral because of all of these videos, and the videos were sparking concern about what they were seeing. Now, on September 30th, he told People, I know there has been a lot of stuff on the internet about me lately, so I wanted to clear the air. I'm blessed to be 90 years old and still be doing what I love to do. And as long as I am able and audiences want to come and see me, I'm going to be out there performing as always. I absolutely love what I do. And I know we put on a great show because our fans are still coming out in force and the show still rocks. And he added, how do we do the show? The Four Seasons sound was always about layering vocals and instruments. We use our 60 years of experience, so we sound like the records. There's no way he would sound like the record. Nobody would. Nobody today is going to sound like they did in 1985. Nobody. I do have to say John Waite sounds great though. I'm just throwing that out there. And I'm sure there are other artists too, but I've seen him and he sounds great. And I like what he did. He just does it acoustic. He sounds so good, except for when he was on tour just recently over the summer. But anyway, I have singers who sing great arrangements, everything. I get a chuckle from the comments, wondering if someone is forcing me to go on stage. Nobody's ever made me do anything I didn't want to do. I plan to be doing shows as long as I can, delivering that great Four Seasons sound. Like that line in Jersey Boys, I'm like that bunny on TV that just keeps going and going and going, chasing the music. And there's a picture. It's a picture of the Four Seasons. Of course, you got ads popping up. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So again, like the article says, the videos that were swirling around on TikTok, he was, lip syncing, singing during December 1963. Oh, what a night. One person said he needs to rest, and somebody else called it sad. I think I said it was sad the last time I talked about it. I think I did, because that's how I felt after I saw that video. And there was another clip for a separate song he sang called Bye Bye Baby, Baby Goodbye. He missed some of the lyrics. That's one of the ones I did see, prompting speculation of lip syncing. Somebody else says he looked exhausted. He's 90. What do you want him to look like at 90? Jeez Louise. Like, I mean, come on, really? Qu I'm tired thinking about he's 90. Do I look tired? I do. Sometimes I really feel very tired and I'm not 90. So he just celebrated his 90th birthday in May. He keeps an active performance schedule. He's booked through April of next year. And he's also got some Vegas residencies lined up for next year. And there was a picture just recently where Lenny Kravitz bumped into Frankie at the airport. Now Lenny looks good. Lenny's 60. He looks really good. And he shared a selfie of him and himself and Frankie on Sunday, September 29th, saying that just ran into the legendary Frankie Valli at the airport. Nothing but respect for you, sir. Endless hits and still touring at 90 years young. Love. And yeah, and look at that. Can you guys still see that? Let me just say, yep, there we go. So pretty cool. Now, Frankie looks really good there. I mean, I think it's a little filtered, but it's pretty cool. Oh, okay. So there was some stuff going on with him and his son. I do remember reading this. So the TikTok controversy comes only a few months after Frankie filed a restraining order against his son Francesco, who's 36. And that restraining order is good for 3 years. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So on April 29th, an LA judge signed off on an order of protection for Frankie against his son Emilio and his son Emilio against Francesco. Oh, so Frankie and his son Emilio have protection against his son and his brother Francesco, who must not contact either Valli or Emilio and must stay 100 yards away from their homes and workplaces. So Emilio, who's 29, recently told somebody, and they're in documents that People magazine got, that he and his dad feared for their safety after Francesco attempted to forcibly enter his father's property back in April. And while waiting for the police to arrive, after he attempted to break into the home, Francesco repeatedly physically threatened to harm or I don't think I can say that. It's so many things we can't say anymore, but both Frankie and Emilio, something the family said was part of a pattern for the past several months. And Frankie is married to former CBS marketing executive Jackie Jacobs, who's 61. So she's like 29 years younger than Frankie. Woo! Good for you. Good for you. And they just got married last June. Like, why? I'm sorry. Like, to me, it's just like I'm going to be 90. Why do I want to do that? I'll just be by myself. I will just get a dog and a cat, maybe a bird. I don't know. And just talk to them. I don't think I would do that at 90. I'm just, some people have to. They just don't want to be alone. Would you get married if you were 90? Like, would you literally do that? Would you say, you know what, I'm 90, I'm alone, I'm going to get married again? Or maybe for the first time? I wouldn't. I'm just throwing it out there. So, Al, you have nothing to worry about. Okay, so this story was crazy. Now, I didn't read it. Again, I'm reading all of these things with you guys because, I kind of want to be shook a little bit when I'm reading these stories. And this one, just seeing the title, it just makes me shake our head at people sometimes. So this is from NBC News. Texas man says he smashed Taylor Swift signed guitar he bid $4,000 on at auction as a joke. It's not funny. It's just not funny. Taylor's got a lot going on right now. She's losing a bunch of listeners. She's, for airing her political views. A lot going on over there right now. But, so let's see. Gary Estes, he paid $4,000 for a Taylor Swift signed guitar at the Ellis County Wild Game Dinner in Waxahachie. Am I saying that properly? Waxahachie? An annual charity event that benefits agricultural based education efforts for local youths. Nice event. Very nice. Okay. So I guess he won it. He got to take it with him that evening. He handed over his 4 grand and he took a hammer to it in a moment captured on video that has gone viral. But he insisted he has no will. I think that means to say no ill will. This is from NBCnews.com against Swift. Why would you do that? If you have no ill will towards, a person who, you know, whatever you think about Taylor, I personally don't have a problem with her. I think I like her. I think she's great. But she clearly donated this for this event. She took the time, she signed it. Her team got it to the event, and then to take a hammer and smash it into little pieces. I mean, there's nothing funny about that. I think that's really sad. It's really, really sad. So he told NBC on Tuesday there was nothing malicious or anything about it. It was just a joke at an auction that we had to raise money for kids, right? And that's all it was. There was nothing mean about it, nothing bad about it. It was just a joke, and they were making up on the stage, and we just followed through with a joke. This is an event for kids, an event for children, and you ended it with violence. Nothing funny about that. Listen, I get it. Our world, I'll be the first one to say, a lot of people get a little too sensitive about some things. Okay. Sometimes you got to really watch how you word things. You have to, you just got to be careful. Yet sometimes you got to tiptoeing in this society, right? I mean, to me, if you don't like it, whatever. And I'm going to say Merry Christmas. I'm not saying Happy Holidays anymore. I'm saying Merry Christmas. Anyway, that's my belief and my faith, and I'm going to say it. So, just the thing is, whether it's Taylor Swift's guitar, Joe Perry's guitar, John Bon Jovi's guitar, to A, waste thousands of dollars to buy something and obliterate it in front of people at a charity event, dude, you really should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. And you really owe everybody an apology, especially to those kids that you are all raising that money for. So auctioneer Craig Meyer, he was a spokesperson for the charity event, said the guitar smashing played well in the room. It was the funny, lighthearted thing. I can't. Like, I'm reading this for the first time. I just don't believe what I'm reading right. I really don't. I know he went on to say, I know maybe it seemed to be malicious, but everybody was laughing. There were people there at the time who joked around that he's mad because he doesn't know how to play the guitar. But after having talked to the man, Meyer said it was an obvious political statement. You think? Absolutely. Taylor Swift, it became a political thing, and that was kind of the gist of it. Just a lighthearted bit of a dig at Taylor for coming out politically and entertainers using their influence to influence politics, Meyer said. And, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago. Should celebrities come out like they have been? And, I get it. You want to endorse who you're following. But, some people are not going to like you for doing that. And I guess you don't care because you already have your money, you already have your fame. But I it's never not going to be a thing. That's always going to be a thing. I mean, celebrities and high profile people are always going to choose a side and, say who they want in office, they don't want in office. This is always going to be a thing. I just think it comes to the point when you're berating the other person, which was part of the debate, the whole thing last night. To me, the debate was it was driven to be a professional, calm debate. And I get it. Debates should be heated in a way. They should, because we want that juice. We want the fire. We want to know you're going to do good stuff for us. But I did like how one of them drove the bus to keep it nice, I guess. And, you know, he drove the bus to keep it nice and the other side was being nice too. So, I liked that. And I know everything's not nicey nice, but it was definitely better than what we've been seeing. So, the whole political thing, I just don't think that was the time or the place to smash a guitar. That's all I'm saying. And you can guess who the man who smashed the guitar he's voting for because it's the opposite as to who Taylor endorses. And he wasn't happy that Taylor had come out and said who she was, endorsing. And he said, yes, you can connect the dots there. So it wasn't a joke. It wasn't a funny thing. It was a political statement. I mean, just be honest, man, and just say it. So Uncle Elmer, hello, how are you? Frankie is selling memory lane and his aging fans are buying. It's fine. The clips I saw on the net were Frankie walking through the show. Yeah, I mean, again, back to Frankie. Here's the thing. You know, if people are going to buy the tickets and they just want to be in the presence of Frankie Valley, go for it. I just think it did, because people were released. If they hadn't released the videos, everything would be fine. Let's be honest about it. If no one was putting those out there, highlighting the fact that Frankie, was not properly lip syncing, he was lip syncing. I mean, I'm sure he was saying like sound was coming out of his mouth, of course, but it wasn't. You're not going to hear Frankie Valley as Frankie Valley was. It's just not going to happen with anybody. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I think you're better off just kinda maybe being yourself, instead of worrying about what, you sound like now compared to what you sounded like then. I always go back to Dionne Warwick. I mean, she was fabulous. Go see Dionne. She's doing some shows throughout the end of the year. Go see Dionne Warwick. Oh my gosh, what a show. I didn't know what to expect. Woman's 82. I love her. I love Dionne Warwick. She was great. And again, she's perfectly fine with who she is today, it seemed. I don't know, I didn't talk to her about that, but, she's perfectly fine, and everybody loved it. Show was sold out, standing ovations, like, after everything she sang. So, embrace who you are today, I guess, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, it's my opinion. My own humble opinion. Alright, so we're going to, now chat about Steve Perry, the season 3. I'm so confused, really, about this whole situation. So, y'all know Gary Stuckey put out a video about the season 3 being released. And I of course, the other day, somebody brought it up, Sierra Scott, it was, brought up, Steve Perry's putting out a new Christmas album. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't talk about it because I couldn't find any information about it. And to be quite honest with you, I still can't find any the only information I have found is a bunch of websites where you can go ahead and pre-order. But can I tell you something? One of the sites you cannot pre-order, let me go ahead and share my screen again. And I think this is kind of an important website, is Amazon. You can't get it on Amazon. You can get Perry Mason season 3 on Amazon. Now here I have Steve Perry, the season 3 in the search bar. Perry Mason comes up, Tyler Perry, No More Crying in the style of Steve Perry, not even Steve Perry. Young Sheldon season 3, Steve Harvey show. There's nothing about the season 3 on Amazon. It's all sites I have not heard of before. So the season 3 is allegedly, we still have to say allegedly because we really don't know. I mean, we do know, but we don't know if that makes any absolute sense. You can pre-order this on all these other websites. Now it's coming out, like I said, allegedly on Dark Horse Records. I have reached out to Dark Horse Records. I sent an email to two different email addresses. I have received no response. And basically, can I just fix this because this is annoying? Like, there we go. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It makes me look uneven. I just can't. I've gotten no response. And all I asked was, is this a legitimate release? Because I have seen nothing publicly about this release. No response. Now, Dark Horse Records was originated and started by the late and great George Harrison. And now his son, Donnie, is running the company along with manager David Zonshine. I think that's how you say it. I hope that's how you say it. So, of course, I've been checking Steve Perry's website. Nothing. Not a word. Go to Google. It's just all of these random websites where you can pre-order the season 3 show up. Now, it's also saying, whenever you look this up, that there are 6 previously unreleased tracks on the record. And one of the unreleased tracks is called, which I thought was odd because this is a Christmas album, it's called Call Me Irresponsible. Now, I don't really see that as a Christmas tune. I think of snow, I think of Santa, I think of reindeer, I think of hot chocolate, I think of peppermint berry. I'm not thinking about someone singing Call Me Irresponsible. Now, that is a song. And again, I don't know if Steve is covering the original song called Call Me Irresponsible from 1962. Bobby Darin originally did a song with that same name. Is it the same one? It would make sense because Steve Perry is an old soul. He likes the old music. So it would make sense that he's covering a Bobby Darin song. It was written by Sammy Cahn, and he was really big stuff. He wrote songs that were sung by Frank Sinatra, Doris Day, Mario Lanza. Like he was a, very well-known songwriter. So that would be one of the new tracks. And like I said, it would make sense for Steve to include something of that nature. And the other unreleased tracks that I gathered from the previous, original season album. So there's 6 in total. So one is Call Me Irresponsible. The other 5 are Jingle Bell Rock, Let It Snow, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and another song of a cover, Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. Now, that could be a Christmas song because it kind of ties into New Year's Eve-ish. What a wonderful world. We're in another life. We're going to another year. Everything's great. It's a wonderful world. But it's still not really a Christmas song. Let's be honest. But you could definitely, interject some Christmas feeling tonality. I don't know. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe he could have just done like an EP, with these 6 unreleased songs. Adding these songs to the season in the season 2, I couldn't find out anything about the season 2. I think it was the season, right? And then it was the season deluxe where I think he had a couple of unreleased songs from the original season, and now it's the season 3 with 6 unreleased songs, 2 of them not really being holiday tunes. So my thought is like, okay, maybe put the Christmas songs onto add those onto the season and then do the other 2 songs as an EP instead of just, like, continually tacking on to the season. It just I don't understand it. I'm just kind of confused, and what I'm really confused about is that why hasn't the Steve Perry camp publicized this yet? I just don't know. Like, if you guys know, let me know. This is a big deal, right? I mean, anytime Steve does anything, it's a big deal. So I really don't know why they would do a release like this. Kind of it's like in the back like a backdoor type of deal, right? And the first preseason that I found online was put out there on August 11th of 2024. So this pre-order thing has been out there. It's just like all of these other websites now are, you know, you can pre-order on them too, and allegedly the album CD is going to be out on November 8th. So I'm just kind of confused. We're just about a month away from release. Why hasn't the Steve Perry camp put out anything about it? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. And this is what I saw from roughtrade.com. It says one of the most, this is their description of the CD. One of the most iconic voices in rock music presents an expanded version of his acclaimed holiday album, The Season. Featuring 6 additional bonus tracks, Steve Perry beautifully reimagines holiday classics, including a recently unearthed duet with his late father. That's a big deal. And to just kind of let it simmer and bubble up on its own, just hoping that people find out about it. I don't get it. I really don't. It's a timeless collection of music produced by Perry and his longtime collaborator Tom Flowers that you will turn to year after year. Now that's cool, but why didn't you make a splash? I just I don't know. Like, help me here. Help me help you, help me help my brain, because I would just think, I don't know. And like I said, the other day, Steve Perry's quiet, like from April until he puts out something, and then he starts talking again on social media in October. So it would make sense. We're only October 2nd right now. So it would make sense that he's going to wait. Maybe he'll wait until October 8th and say, "Oh, you got 30 days, pre-order now and let's get it going. Everybody, come on, chop chop, pre-order my newest album." I don't understand why they're doing it that way. I think it's great. Of course, anything by Steve is awesome, and we're always happy to, have something from him. It's just odd. That's all I can say. It's just odd. I would think total splish splash of PR. Oh my gosh, this is a duet with Steve's dad. Hi. Like, everybody, this is great. And it is great. I'm not saying it's not. It's just I really would hope for something more, you know. And let's see, there's a site called forums.melodicrock.com, and people are chatting about it. So, and this is by Final Frontiers. This was put out on September 11th. I can't believe no one else posted this, but Steve Perry is giving his best to you this holiday season. I read about it on Google News, but now I can't find the original story with the interview. So did Steve Perry do an interview? I don't know. I literally don't know. I didn't even I again, I'm just reading this now. So I guess there was an interview too. And I haven't seen a thing about it. And let me tell you, I'm looking every day and it has been pretty buried. Pretty buried. So then someone else said, Bel Air Park 73 said, actually, it was posted in the Journey thread of all places. And they were talking up a storm about it. This is from September 14th. Glad you finally posted about it. For a while, I couldn't get back in here. So it's been out there for quite some time. And then Final Frontiers said again, the Journey Forum. Oh, I'm not going to that because they're being negative, but let's see. Precisely. Oh, Steve could sing the phone book and I would fill in the blank. And by the way, pre-orders for Steve's holiday album are sold out. Think about that. Weird. Really? So now I got to try and pre-order something and just to see. And then somebody, let's see is this a picture? I don't know. Somebody said there was a picture. He looks great, but there's no link to the picture. Oh, but that was from 2021. Okay, so now we're going back. Okay. So and you know what? So some of those comments too are from 2021. 2021. That's crazy. So these aren't even current. So I was reading something I thought was from 2024. So nobody's really talking about this. Why? And even so that brings up a very valid point though. Even in 2021, it was kind of buried. So people kind of had to dig for it themselves and find out that he was even releasing a holiday album. I'm so confused. I'm literally so confused. I would think it would just be, I don't know, in Dark Horse Records, you guys can try reaching out to them. Nothing. I got nothing. No response. So Cindy said, I pre-ordered Steve's CD on Amazon. Hope it isn't a scam. See, I can't even see it on Amazon. Why couldn't I see it on Amazon? Why? Let's see. Steve Perry. Let's go back. Steve Perry. The season 3. There it is. Okay. But see, now if I put in, all right, I'm just going to show you guys. Watch. It's going to make a liar out of me because that's just the way life moves and I don't care. So there it is. Thank you very much, Cindy. So there it is. But then if you put in, because I put in the season 3 and it doesn't come up. Is that weird? You're seeing it in real time, right? Let me make sure it's on. Yes. You're seeing it in real time. So Steve Perry, the season 3, you type it in, it doesn't come up. How about the season 3? Just the season 3. Let's try that. Messed up. Okay, maybe if yeah, there we go. The season 3. Nope, it doesn't come up. The season 3. It's not coming up. You have to just type in Steve Perry. Okay, so I'm sure it's legit. And let's see, can you still order it? Let's see if it's sold out. Pre-order now. Oh, I can't. I got to put in all my information. I'll do that after. So at least it is on Amazon. But I find that super odd that you can't even put in the season 3 and it won't come up. I don't know. Sierra said, thank you for doing such a deep search on this. I'm confused too. You're very welcome, Sierra, and hello. I don't know. Let's just, I'm sure it's real. I can't say 100% though, but I just hope that Steve Perry's team comes out and does a really nice launch for I mean, it's getting late. It's October 2nd. I'm just saying, if I was putting out an album that was due out in a month, I would want people to know about it. I would be like telling everybody, go get my album. Go get my album because I want you to buy it so I can buy more ice cream and go to another baseball game. That's what I need you to do that for me. He doesn't need anybody's money. He's fine. So if you guys know any other information, I suggest you reach out to Dark Horse Records and see if you get a response. Maybe they just don't want to respond to me. I don't know because I'm literally going, is this legitimate? Like, can you just tell me if this is a real release because I'm confused. I didn't say I'm confused. I just said I just want to know. It seems suspicious. I don't let's just it's gotta be real. I just find the whole layout odd. I would think that the 4 additional tracks, and I don't know which one I'm gonna guess the one he does with his late dad is probably the Bobby Darin cover. I would think that's gonna be the one, but I don't know. Again, we know nothing. So, hopefully we get more info as the days move on. I would just think, like I said, time's a ticking. We got, you know, let us know. I have a budget. I need to know. So, guys, let us know what you think. I'm so glad you were here. And Nancy said it does seem unusual not to come from Steve directly. I agree. I would think, it's almost the middle of October. He's got to say something. That's his MO every year. It's the same predictable pattern. When he gets on social media and he stays off social media. So it's okay. At least we know he's still around and he's good. So that's a good thing. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Please hit the like button and please download the free app to Kiki.fm, playing your greatest in classic rock and classic hits. Guys, I love you, love you, love you. Mwah. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys, and have a great rest of your week.